Hey, welcome to Three Rabbit Tarot. If you've been following us recently, you might have noticed that we've kind of taken a bit of a hiatus in making our content. I don't know what to say except for the Mercury in retrograde recently has been awful. So we kind of got a little bit held up these last couple weeks with making content, but we're going to be back at it, doing our normal thing, doing weekly readings, weekend readings, and soon we're going to be starting our monthly readings as well. But here we're going to be doing a full moon reading for the moon in Capricorn. On June 22nd, we're going to be experiencing the full moon in Capricorn, which is an opportunity for people to kind of cast away things that haven't been serving them since the last new moon. And that's going to be the same for every single moon. But this particular super full moon in Capricorn, this one is going to take on like a lot of that Capricorn energy, and a lot of people think that means, oh, Capricorn is just all about like all work, no play. That's not necessarily the case. It's just about working hard, but also working in like an intelligent way that can render things into your life. So it's like kind of like work hard, play hard. That's the kind of vibe that the Capricorn full moon is going to be bringing everybody during this next week. So if life has been throwing a lot of obstacles your way recently, if everything's been telling you, you gotta like work like really hard, everything's been grinding you down recently, don't expect that to stop, but find a way to run through this finish line here. I think that if we're taking the full moon in Sagittarius energy from last month that we experienced, that was an opportunity. Normally at the full moon, it's all about throwing out things that aren't serving you. But in this case, with like the full moon in Sagittarius, it was like a little bit more revolutionary in a sense. It was an opportunity. It was really telling you like, this is the point in your year right now, the entire year, that you need to take things that aren't serving you and just throw them out, cast them aside. So hopefully, if you've done that since the last full moon in Sagittarius, since our blood moon video, then you should, this last month, have been building things up. You should have been putting into work on something new. And if you haven't been putting into work on something new, now this week is your opportunity. Just put it into work. So here we have this beautiful, really nice mat that clearly lays out all the signs. So we're going to be able tonight make a pretty nice spread here that kind of gives us an opportunity to very briefly survey what everybody is going through this next month, kind of taking that Capricorn and the full moon energy and just applying it in your life. We're going to draw two cards here. One card is going to be kind of a clarification on the energies for this month. And then we're going to also pull one card here is from the Moonology deck, is kind of like an overarching like theme for like the month for this next lunar cycle specifically. So we're going to draw cards here for Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, and then lastly, Capricorn. And then we're going to also pull one card for each sign from the Moonology deck to kind of give us a general energy for this month. So Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, and Capricorn. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Sagittarius here. So Sagittarius, for this next month that we're heading into, we have you're very close to achieving your goal from the Moonology card here. So that's pretty nice to see, and I guess that's very fitting with like the full moon in Capricorn. This last month we had the full moon in Sagittarius, all about making revolutionary changes, getting rid of things that aren't necessarily serving you, and it seems like if you've taken the time to kind of throw away things that weren't serving you and to pave like a new pathway, Sagittarius, it seems like this is saying very clearly the things that you've been working on since then, the new things that you're materializing, you're about to cross some kind of finish line. You're about to see some kind of achievement of a goal here. So that's incredibly hopeful to see. And as a clarification here, we have the Queen of Cups. So this energy here with the Queen of Cups, this is all going to be about finding kind of like emotional fulfillment, emotional satisfaction. The Queen of Cups card is the only Cups card with like this very unique cup, this very like ornamental, like very like well-crafted cup. And I can see it kind of like is about like emotional mastery. When we look at the King of Cups, for instance, there's a lot of like insecurity still within the King of Cups card. But for the Queen of Cups, the Queen cards for me are always about, that's like really the height of like that particular suit, for instance. So the Queen of Cups here is all about mastering your emotions and wielding them in a way where you can perhaps like be like more diplomatic with people. You're better understanding of like what you need and then what you expect from others. So rather than having like unrealistic expectations of other people, maybe in this last month, maybe something that you've thrown away has been unrealistic expectations of other people. I know that was a reoccurring theme for Sagittarius in some of their readings, was trying to kind of like impose these views on other people who aren't necessarily receptive of certain views, and trying to like get people to change who are fundamentally unable to change. So from this Sagittarius, I'm kind of seeing going into this month, maybe you've already kind of put in like a lot of the emotional work here, and it's saying that it's paying off for you. You know, you're about to achieve some kind of goal here. And I think that the goal that Sagittarius has been moving towards has been finding some kind of like, just like a little bit more of like emotional security, or just like security in like your own ideas and feeling empowered about your own ideas to the point where you don't really feel that you're not like obligated anymore to always like press these ideas onto other people who you know aren't going to be receptive of them, because you end up wasting so much energy bogged down in like constant wars with individuals who will never be able to understand the mindset that you have, because they haven't been through the same experiences. So that's what I'm kind of saying here with this Queen of Cups card. It's all about you finally understanding that, you know, these people, they're not going to change. But that's okay, because you are now like coming into being the Queen of Cups, where you have this emotional security. You're at like the height, you know, you're at like this like vantage point where you're able to like look down on others, and not necessarily in like a smug superior kind of way, but just like a way of like knowing yourself fully and knowing what you're capable of. So this seems like a pretty positive cycle for Sagittarius here. So we'll go ahead and put that aside and get into Scorpio. Scorpio, so for your next month here, so the kind of general energy that we're getting from the moon here, we have conclusions are within reach. So that's pretty fitting for a full moon as well. Full moon's all about kind of reaching this conclusion, really focusing on the things that you've been building up over this last month, these things that you've been building up since the last new moon. And now during this period of the full moon, it's kind of like the time of harvest almost, right? So this is just saying very clearly your conclusions are within reach. There's some kind of finish line that you're about to reach here. And maybe right now with the Capricorn, with the full moon Capricorn energy, what this is saying is you need to put in a little bit more work on what you're doing right now, Scorpio, so you can kind of see like your goal like on the horizon, but you just need to like continue, like maybe like ramp up the pace at which you're working right now and continue striving towards that goal right now. Sorry, not Capricorn, Scorpio. Here we have the Five of Cups card for your kind of general guidance, but just as like a clarification as well for like this next month, Scorpio. Scorpio, even though your conclusion is within reach, this Five of Cups card is really telling me that there's something from your past right now. The Cups card, again, as I said with like Sagittarius, it's all going to be about emotions. So there's something emotionally hindering you right now. There's something kind of blocking you back. You're kind of focused a little bit too much here. So we have like the rabbit here kind of like, you know, bemoaning like these 3 cups have been knocked over, but there's still 2 cups here right behind them. They're still upright, and those kind of represent like the good things in your life. So if you've gone through like a pretty chaotic month, and I think a lot of people have with like the recent, you know, Mercury in retrograde, because I know that I have. This, you know, is telling you to like look on the bright side, look at the good things that you have. And that's been particularly important for me too, going into like this last month. We've, you know, encountered so many obstacles during the Mercury in retrograde. It's been insane. So it's just like, it was like day after day, something bad would happen. There would be some kind of like communication breakdown, some kind of like dramatic issue every single day. And it became like a little bit difficult though to kind of see like, okay, well, you know, we still have some good things going for us. We've been kind of preparing for a trip right now, and we've been trying to find a way to bring our rabbits with us, which has been incredibly difficult. But one of the good things that came out of this last week is that, you know, the flight that we're going to be taking, they allow rabbits. So that's, you know, a great thing, because we don't have to like rehome them or, you know, find some like other way to take them with us. So this Five of Cups card is kind of telling you, like, look at the good things that you have around you right now, because your conclusions here are within reach. You could be concluding something right now. It could be like a relationship that you're walking away from as well. That's kind of what I'm feeling with this, Scorpio. I could kind of see you just walking away from things that aren't serving you. You know, the Five of Cups card, it is always about like, oh, like I've like lost these things. I'm like crying over like the spilled milk here, but I still have like these perfect things in my life. It could also just be you like walking away from like these cups, these things here that aren't serving you. This could be like a continuation of last month where you had like that Sagittarius and full moon, all about radically changing things, walking away from people, cutting negative things out of your life right now. And this could be, you know, with Capricorn as well. Capricorn is ruled by, you have like the Devil card as well. And that's all about like kind of choosing your vices as well. So it could just be that like maybe you're just kind of like choosing like what is and what isn't working for you right now, Scorpio. And you're choosing to like walk away from some negative things as well. Maybe these things that you're casting your back on here, or these things that you're focusing on so much, maybe it's not entirely negative, you know, that like they're out of your life now. But you feel pretty certain here because you still have like these two standing cups. There are still good things in your life right now, Scorpio, and I think those are going to be the things. Now you kind of like slim things down a little bit. You're able to focus a little bit more on the things that matter, and those things are going to be the things that kind of propel you through this finish line here. So your conclusions are within reach, but the full moon Capricorn is telling us to this full moon in Capricorn is really going to be telling us to put in work right now, Scorpio. Here we have Libra. So Libra, your general energy from the Moonology card. Here we have meditate and contemplate, which could be a good thing right now. Even though like we're beginning to get out of the Mercury in retrograde right now, right? But it could be, I read somewhere like somebody had an idea of like retro shade, wherein like maybe the first like week or two coming up to the Mercury in retrograde, there are like effects of it, because we know like when these like planets come into different signs, it's not as though like, oh, on that day immediately things change. It could be the preceding weeks in which we start to notice small minor changes, kind of like minor communication breakdowns within like the first week of like heading up to the Mercury in retrograde that get exponentially worse as you get into like the thick of Mercury in retrograde. And right now we're beginning to move away from it, but there's still there could be like some effects that are kind of lingering and haunting us right now. And there could be some things that you've also learned from the Mercury in retrograde, because there's a lot of negativity surrounding that, right? Because we're always caught up in really the drama that the Mercury in retrograde can present to us. And right now this full moon is coming to us at a time where it's ending. So it's telling us to kind of like change gears a little bit. So Mercury in retrograde, all about, you know, being stationary. So I think that you kind of know that, Libra. I think that you've been like keeping your head down right now, and just like hoping to survive the last couple of weeks. But now life is telling you, okay, let's change the gears a little bit though. So now's the time to kind of like meditate on what you've learned and then utilize this Capricorn energy to kind of propel yourself forward a little bit now. Here we have the Queen of Swords. That's incredibly positive to see. Like I said here with Sagittarius, I love seeing the Queen cards. The Queen cards for me are always the height of that particular suit. It comes to me without like any of the insecurities that haunt like the King cards. The Swords card here is all about, the Queen of Swords card here is about mastering kind of like the ability, I really always see this as the ability to cut things and people off and to kind of understand like what's working in your life and what isn't. So we have the Queen of Swords card here with just like wielding that sword confidently and understanding how you want to use it. So if there are like people in your life right now, Libra, who have been like kind of haunting you, especially I think it's like people have been causing you problems during like this Mercury in retrograde. I can kind of see you as going through like a lot of bullshit here in the last Mercury in retrograde, specifically with like people around you. So it could be friends, family, coworkers, schoolmates as well. I think that those people just cause you a lot of problems. So now you're kind of like taking a step back and thinking, okay, do I need all this drama around me all the time? So this is an opportunity for you, Libra, I think, to kind of really rest, meditate on the things that you do and don't want in your life. And the Queen of Swords card here is telling you you have the power, though, to cut those things out, to cut those people out. So this is pretty hopeful to see here, Libra. I think that you just kind of need to take the lessons from the Mercury in retrograde and then use like the Capricorn and like full moon energy. That's all going to be. The Capricorn and full moon energy is all going to be about something material, really putting in the work on something. So if there are individuals in your life who've been giving you a lot of shit, this is telling you, cut them out. Don't deal with them anymore. So pretty hopeful and pretty nice to see here, Libra. Virgo, we're going to be pulling your card here. We have a new start is coming, a little contradictory to a full moon, right? But it could be the same case as with Libra here. It could just be that the Mercury retrograde caused a lot of problems for you. It's starting to get you to reevaluate things in different ways, and that could be a new start in of itself. Full moon doesn't always have to be about bringing in some harvest, bringing in the things that you built since the last full moon, because it could be that like maybe you just didn't put in adequate work since the last new moon. And if you haven't done that, if you haven't put in the work since like the last full moon, the last new moon, then there's not going to be much for you to render going into the full moon, right? So this could be telling you, well, it doesn't matter so much. There are always different opportunities. Even though if you miss the boat on doing some kind of spiritual work these last couple of weeks since the full moon or since the new moon, this could just be telling you it's okay. Don't stress out too much because there's still a new start here. The Mercury in retrograde, it's over. So utilize this kind of like Capricorn energy to propel yourself forward, to work on something new. Here we have the Lovers card. So, okay, Virgo, I see somebody coming into your life right now. This is clearly what this is saying here, Virgo. We're being told here a new start is coming, and we have here the Lovers card. So like, what else do you expect, Virgo? I think that this is saying very clearly during like this next week or this next lunar cycle, there is somebody really significant coming into your life here. They're going to be a new start for you, and not just like a start of like a new relationship. I really see this as like a big new start, like a new chapter of your life kind of opening up here. This is the last full moon, I think, for the entire year. So it could just be like, this is like a big end of like different cycles this year, kind of propelling us forward into like the upcoming year, even though we're not done yet. I mean, it's only June, so we're only halfway through this, but still, seems like a new chapter kind of opening up for you here. This is like really nice to see. I really like how the colors on these cards really match too. There's like a lot of like purples and pinks and stuff on like both of these cards. They really match up. It's just like pretty nice to see here, Virgo. I definitely see like a love interest coming into your life right now. So if you're looking for love right now, Virgo, now is the time. There's somebody coming into your life right now. That's the new start for you, Virgo. All right, and Leo, let's see what we have going on for you this next month. We have balance, spirituality, and practicality. So that's a good lesson for everybody, I think, going into this full moon in Capricorn. Full moon in Capricorn, again, all about something very material, building up something, putting in a lot of work on some kind of goal that you're moving towards. But this is telling you, Leo, right now, rather than focusing solely on like overextending yourself perhaps, because a lot of other people, it could just be like a lot of the other signs right now, they really do need to put in the work. They really do need to like just like work their asses off during this period. But for you, Leo, this is telling you, okay, you need to put in the work, but also like balance like that spirituality at the same time, kind of understand like what you're striving towards at the same time. And like it could just be that like maybe you're feeling like a little uncertain about where you're heading. A lot of the other cards here, it seems like they have like a lot of the other signs here have like a very clear goal that they've been moving towards. So if you haven't put in a lot of work during these last like lunar cycles, then it could just be that you don't know where things are heading right now. It could just be like everything's kind of up in the air. So even though you should be putting in a lot of work right now, just recognize like balance like that practicality and spirituality here, Leo. Yep, and here, perfectly fitting, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups, Leo, is all about too many options. So we have the rabbit here looking up at all these different cups here. And these are all different like possibilities, different outcomes. You know, these are different. You could even see these as like doors too. I like to really imagine like 7 different doors here. So if you open up one of these doors and you walk in and then the door closes behind you, you might not be able to like return to where you had like those 7 different opportunities. And if you do return, maybe you'll only have 2 doors to choose from, or maybe you'll have more doors to choose from, but they'll all be different doors than they were before. What this means is that you have all these What this means is that you have all these opportunities ahead of you right now, Leo. You're just really uncertain about which one to choose. Because if you put in like so much energy on one of these things, this energy that you're putting in on one goal that you're not going to be able to like, you can't like gain it back. Like if you like start putting in like 40-hour work weeks, like this brand new job, and you start taking time from like another like part-time job that you were doing at the same time that maybe you're more passionate about, maybe you feel like that's the pathway that you should have been heading down, you can't get those hours back. They've already been squandered on like this one thing. This is telling you right now, these two cards here, Leo, are telling you really find like a balance right now and kind of understand like where you're putting into work, where you're putting in the energy, because you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to put in the energy right now, but you need to recognize where it's going towards, because if you waste and squander all of your energy on one thing, you're never going to get it back. So just know what you're putting your energy into right now, Leo. That's the advice that I'm getting here. And Cancer, here we have a time for healing. So Cancer, it could be right now. There could be a lot of things assailing you, or that have been assailing you, especially in this Mercury in retrograde. So if you've been feeling the heat, like communication breakdown and stuff from this Mercury in retrograde, this right now is a time for you to heal. So you're still putting in the work. I think like all the Cancers out there, you're just definitely always putting in the work on something. But this is telling you, even though you're still putting in the work, even though you're still utilizing that Capricorn energy, just still like take the time to heal a little bit. But you know that. So you know that right now is the perfect opportunity for you to heal. And here we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a pretty nice card to see, actually, that really backs this up. Seven of Pentacles is all about rendering things into your life. It's all about like that harvest. So since the last new moon, we should have been working towards these brand new goals, these new ambitions. We should have been putting in the work and putting in the energy on something. And that could have been really difficult because of Mercury in retrograde. It causes a lot of communication breakdown. So I can kind of see right now Cancer could be like an individual who's in a bit of like a leadership position here. And it could be that like this Mercury in retrograde was particularly difficult, or you could be somebody who's dealing with technology as well. So if you're in a position of like leadership, or if you're dealing with like a lot of technology, you could have been facing a lot of problems in this Mercury in retrograde. But despite that, you persevered. You put in the work every day, and because of that, you're seeing the harvest coming into fruition here. So whereas like some of the other cards here, or some of the other signs here, we mentioned with their cards that they still have to, maybe they didn't put in the work since the last new moon because it could have been too difficult because of all, everything going on with like Mercury in retrograde. It's been really difficult. Cancer, you still put in the work. So this is going to be a good full moon for you. There is a bountiful harvest here for Cancer. So this is very positive to see. You put in the work on something. So I think this is telling you, because you kind of like skated ahead of like that Capricorn and full moon energy, you've still been putting in the work this whole time. So it's telling you like, okay, yeah, you can chill out a little bit. It's fine. Like you don't need to like work like extra hard because you've been working extra hard the whole time. So this is pretty nice to see for you, Cancer. Gemini, for your moon energy here, we have surrender to the divine with the full moon card here. So Gemini could be overcoming I'm just kind of feeling, just kind of getting like something like incredibly emotional for you. I'm kind of getting something incredibly emotional for you, Gemini, that you could have been overcoming recently. And it could just be that the way out of this situation is really just surrender to the divine. Whatever that means to you, Gemini, even if you don't know what that means yet, there could be a big moment coming into your life that could really shake things up for you, and not in a way of like some lover coming into your life or some new opportunities or like going back to school or something like that. I really mean like there's going to be some signs around you right now, Gemini. I'm really getting the vibe of something's telling me to look around you a little bit more, and kind of if you're not like a really spiritual person, that's fine, but you're going to start to notice like these weird coincidences around you that are kind of pointing you in the right direction right now. That's really like the vibe that I'm getting right now for you, Gemini. And here we have the Ten of Swords. So this is all about like overkill. This is some kind of like really some kind of like external oppression. But here with like surrendering to the divine, it could just be that you've been assailed recently, Gemini. And I don't mean recently as in like Mercury in retrograde. I mean recently as in like the last year. I'm really getting like a lot of energy from this in particular for you, Gemini. And it's pretty fitting too, right? We have here like the full moon card, and then we have like the sun in the background here. They're like big, like giant round objects in the background. And you have the rabbit here kind of just on the ground, 10 swords poking through them. And it's very dramatic. And this is telling us that like things for you right now are incredibly dramatic. There's a lot of things assailing you, but it could just be that you're focused. Maybe there are some things, it feels like you're being assaulted by so many different directions that maybe you take everything like a little bit too hard, a little bit too personally. When right now, instead of focusing on these swords right now that are sticking out of you, you really need to be focusing on the sun here. I'm just getting that, like, Gemini, there's some kind of like a weird thing. So I don't know how else to relay this to you, Gemini, except to kind of give like my own experience. So about like 2 years ago, I was being assailed by like a bunch of like just like crazy emotional things like all at once. So it's about like 2.5 years ago, and they were like the swords like sticking into me. They're causing me a lot of anxiety, a lot of anguish, just a lot of stress. But it was through that stress and that anxiety and that anguish that I was able to recognize things around me, that it just kind of like opened me up. This is like really like this is really like the time in which things changed for me a little bit spiritually. Something just changed like that. I remember sitting at this lake at night and listening to music and just being like overcome. Like I was like the rabbit here with like all the swords sticking out of me. It was just like all pressing down on me all at once. And I was looking off into the distance and watching the clouds kind of roll over these mountains, and like down into the lake, and like watching like the fog like come off the lake, and it's like a light rain over the city at the time. And I was just taken somewhere else. I don't know how else to explain it. It was a very weird experience that I had. And I kind of see that here too with you, Gemini. I think that there's a lot of stress right now going on, and you're going to be confronted with a very weird, otherworldly kind of experience that's going to, you might not really find guidance from this experience. You're still going to be here under all the weight of the swords, Gemini. But yeah, this is pretty weird. Actually, we'll go ahead and clarify this one, Gemini. I feel like kind of obligated. Yeah, so here we have the Chariot card. Yeah, so Gemini, this is guidance that you need right now, but I'm telling you, Gemini, it's not going to like be like too certain. It's not going to be too clear like what the guidance is. There is a big weird thing that's going to happen to you soon. This is going to be like mind altering in some sort of way, Gemini, and it's going to be the guidance that you need here, but you just don't realize right now, and you're not going to realize for a couple months where this guidance is leading you, Gemini. So that if you've been assailed recently, Gemini, don't worry or worry, because there's some weird event that's going to overcome you pretty soon, Gemini. That's pretty strange. All right, and Taurus, here we have luck is on your side. So that's pretty nice to see. Taurus, all about like working too. It has like that same kind of like Capricorn energy, right? All about like putting in the work on something. So if anybody besides Capricorn can put in the work on something right now, it's going to be Taurus. Taurus is like a workhorse, or a bull. So here we have like luck is on your side, which is really nice to see. And as your clarification card here, we have the Magician. So this is telling you, this is just saying, Taurus, you have all these tools at your disposal right now. You've been putting in the work on something right now, Taurus. I think that you've been developing yourself emotionally. I think that since, especially here, because we have like the new moon in Sagittarius, that kind of mimics that full moon in Sagittarius that we had, and that new moon in Sagittarius that we had like this last month. So it could just be that you put in the work during that really important period. From the last full moon in Sagittarius, you really did take the opportunity to throw out things that weren't working for you. And because of that, now you've gained like, kind of like as like this attribute, you've gained like a little bit of luck here. And it could just be, it's not really luck, because they are tools at your disposal. You've built up these tools by either putting in like, just the emotional work on something, or like really like cutting different people out of your life and keeping other people around, pulling them closer right now. It could also be like you have like these financial tools at your disposal right now. So you have all the tools here that you need to render some kind of new start, some kind of success. And this is telling you, continue to put in the work. This is telling you to continue to put in the work, because the luck is on your side right now, Taurus. So this is incredibly hopeful to see. It's like, it just seems like you're going into like a pretty easy month here, to be honest. I don't think there's too much for you to worry about. There's nothing like weird with like Gemini here. All right, and Aries. Here we have a new romantic cycle begins. So Aries, If you are single or if you're just looking for somebody, right now is the opportunity for you. We have a new romantic cycle begins, and that could also be within your own relationships as well, because even you know, you have like those ups and downs, you know, in each relationship, Aries. So it could be that, like, yeah, I can kind of see, like, if you're an Aries who's in a relationship right now, it could be that the Mercury in retrograde presented all these, like, difficulties for you with, like, this person that you're with. Maybe you had, like, communication breakdown, you didn't quite understand each other, but it's okay because you're starting a new romantic cycle with this person. The relationship continues, you both grow from those experiences, or you don't grow and you break up and you find somebody new and a new romantic experience begins, right? So Aries, what do we have here? We have the Ace of Wands. Just about starting something new. You know, Capricorn is all about putting in work materially towards something, but Aries, the vibe that I'm getting from this is don't put that, don't work overtime or something, you know, like put in the work on like a relationship. There's some kind of new relationship here, or a relationship that you're in where you had like these really useful experiences from the Mercury in retrograde, and use this opportunity right now to kind of like upgrade your relationship or to start a new relationship, Aries. So this is with the Ace of Wands here, somebody fiery kind of coming into your life right now. I can kind of see like a fire sign right now. So if you're with a fire sign, this is telling you use the Mercury in retrograde, those experiences, and it can be like a little bit difficult. I know Aries is all, you know, you always want to fight, you know, you always want to continue these fights. This is telling you, like, you know, pump the brakes a little bit, use those things that you learned in the last Mercury in retrograde and put them to use to build up a new romantic cycle for yourself. And especially if you're with a fire sign right now, like a Sagittarius, a Leo, or another Aries, definitely put in the work on like upgrading that relationship. If you're single, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, that could be somebody coming into your life right now. All right, and Pisces, your general energy for this full moon, we have expect a powerful change. So hopefully Pisces has put in a lot of work. Hopefully the Pisces that we're reading for here has been putting in the work, just like some of our other cards here, some of our other signs here have been doing through the cards that have been displayed. They've been putting in the work on something, and it could be because of that you can expect some kind of powerful changes. And it's not just because these things are happening to you, it's because you've been rendering them, Pisces. And here, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, pretty cool. So yeah, we have here like the new eclipse moon, and then also the Wheel of Fortune here. You know, we have like these like two circles here, kind of like mimicking each other right now, right? So we can expect these powerful changes, and we expect these powerful changes on like the wheel of life here, the Wheel of Fortune. So you have like these ups and downs, these difficulties and opportunities that come towards you, come into your life. This is telling you to utilize those new opportunities, utilize this this full moon, because you have the giant full moon here, right? Another giant circle here. You have your giant new moon circle here, your Wheel of Fortune. The moon right now for you is your Wheel of Fortune. So utilize these opportunities right now, really utilize the energy, this Capricorn energy, just like putting in the work, like busting your ass on something. But if you do that right now, Pisces, you can expect some powerful changes, only by putting in the work though. That's the only way. Like Tarot isn't like divining like what's gonna exactly happen to you all the time. It's like sometimes like with this, it's all about like you have to put in the work on something. So Pisces, just remember that you have to put in the work here. And because of that, if you tap into the moon energy here, you'll be able to render something really powerful and substantial into your life going into the rest of the year. And now is the time to do it because it's the last full moon of the year. Or not the last full moon, the last super full moon of the year. All right, and here with Aquarius, we have communication is key with the new moon in Gemini. So yeah, communication is key, and we've seen that a lot. So if you've been following some of your other signs here, if you've had Aries in your sign here, there's like a number of other ones. So if you have like Aries in your moon or rising, then that could be coming up with you here. There's a lot of cards here because we're coming out of the Mercury in retrograde. It's all about communication. So communication is always key, but especially right now because maybe things have kind of broken down for you. Maybe there was like some kind of relationship that you had with somebody here. We have here with like, the moon in Gemini here. So we have like those two individuals on the card as well. I think that you could have had some kind of like communication breakdown with somebody really important to you. I'm kind of feeling like a family member though. I think that you had a communication breakdown during the Mercury in retrograde with a family member, Aquarius. And your guidance that you need right now is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, like I said before, we've been following the other cards here. The Queen cards, for me, that's always like the height of like that particular like suit. But you know, I'll make one exception though for like the King of Pentacles. It's all about being really materially secure with where you are, Aquarius. And I'm getting here with like communication is key. I'm kind of also feeling like charity right now too. Aquarius, I'm kind of feeling like maybe you had like family members reach out to you for some kind of favor, for some kind of charity, or maybe during like this last like Mercury in retrograde, you made the mistake of like reaching out in a big way towards family members and asking them for like a huge favor. And maybe it blew up. Maybe the communication just wasn't quite there. Maybe you didn't express things properly, or maybe they just took things the wrong way. And because of that, there could have been a communication breakdown. That's what I'm really getting from this, Aquarius. Definitely some kind of communication breakdown that you had, probably over something material here. It could be that others are asking you of something, or you ask others of something, and at the time though it just didn't work out. And my advice right now, Aquarius, would be with this Capricorn energy, this is putting in the work on something. This is telling us right now, Aquarius, to continue, maybe ask again, you know, or like find a way to reframe things. If you really need something from these individuals, if you need support and help from them, find a way to kind of reframe things, or find a way to where you can give back to them. If they've been pestering you and asking you for something, maybe kind of reevaluate right now and see if like if you can expend like a little bit of like resources that you should have here if you are the King of Pentacles here, to kind of give back to them. That's the vibe that I'm getting here, Aquarius. And finally, Capricorn. This is your moon here, and we have be bold and make the first move. So of course, Capricorn right now is Capricorn and full moon energy, all about working, striving towards something, putting in the work on something right now. So right now, Capricorn, you need to be bold and make the first move on something. Let's see what you're moving towards right now. We have the Justice card. So this is pretty interesting. I'm kind of getting the energy here that the Justice card is going to be all about like really going, like actually going to court, you know? So this is all about like the court card, like you're having some kind of legal difficulties. Maybe you could be like divorcing somebody, or just like going to court over something right now. So Capricorn, don't come to tarot readings for legal advice, but the vibe that I'm getting here, the energy that I'm getting here is that like if there is some like court thing on the horizon, if there's some kind of you know, judicial issue that you're having, this is telling you maybe take this opportunity, make the first move. So if you're kind of considering, if you've been like wronged in some way, maybe you need to make the first move to kind of like seek some sort of representation, to defend yourself. It could also be like Capricorn, I'm getting the energy here of like, you know, there could have been, because of Mercury in retrograde, some kind of communications breakdown, and that could have led to an issue where you're having to go to court over something. Maybe something like really catastrophic happened where somebody wronged you, or maybe they were like, you were perceived as wronging them in some sort of way. So you're kind of worried that they're going to take legal action against you. And I'm getting the energy here that you need to like represent yourself first. So if you are in a weird legal situation, or a situation that could become like a legal situation, this is telling you lawyer up. This is like what this is saying. Just find a lawyer, you know. Very weird, Capricorn. Never gotten that from a reading, but definitely lawyer up right now if you're in that kind of situation. Of course, represent yourself. Don't wait until the last minute to find representation, is what this is saying. It can be a little bit scary, especially if you're going, or if you have like the prospect of going to court over something. It can feel really daunting and intimidating. This is telling you, you know, don't get too bogged down on being filled with anxiety and stressed out, because you're going to have more stress and more anxiety if you don't take the opportunity right now to find some sort of protection for yourself. And so Capricorn, definitely find a way to kind of represent yourself right now. That's what this reading is telling me. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for all of the signs here for the Capricorn full moon. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you can follow our content. Also comment down below if this reading resonated with you. I'd love to hear your feedback, any suggestions, or just general remarks or comments. And I hope everybody survived their Mercury in retrograde, and I hope everybody can get ready for the next one, because we have one more this year.